Hey, welcome back to my channel. I'm Tatiana, a business coach and a mentor, helping you get out of your own way to do what you have always been wanting to do. Today, I wanted to talk about my love of CEO days, what they are, why you need them, and how I've been able to incorporate them into my business over the years to really help me level up and grow in certain areas that I was lacking in or feeling like I didn't have the time to focus on. I think that CEO days are such a game changer for solopreneurs, and I really wanted us to talk about it. So if you have been feeling like you don't really have a lot of time to work on the overall big vision or your 3 to 5 year plan for your business, or really assessing like different opportunities, putting yourself out there more, really getting visibility for your business, and this is definitely going to be the video you want to watch, because we're going to talk about how to start prioritizing those things, because they are just as important as posting on social media and all of the day-to-day tasks that we do. But sometimes those things tend to get put on the back burner just because we got to keep the business afloat and running. So we're going to talk about CEO days in this video, and I cannot wait for you to get in on this, and hopefully you'll be able to set your own up very soon. So first, what is a CEO day? I think another word for this could be just an overall business admin day. Basically, it just means that you are taking some time to really work on the business and not in the business. And there's a very big difference between that. Most of the time we are working in the business. We are taking the calls, we are getting the sales. We are posting on social media, being the face of our business, processing orders, sending emails. That is in the business. That is the day-to-day tasks and things that we do in order to keep it running. Essentially, if you look at your business as if it is a big corporation or a company with multiple departments and different employees, everybody has a role. And so those day-to-day operations are constantly happening. But one of the things that you probably don't really realize if you are in your small role is that there is somebody that is kind of up top. They're calling the shots, and they are moving the business in a direction to making sure that you are staying true to the business goals and the plans and things that you have for what I call the big vision. But a lot of times when you are not only that person that is making those big decisions, but you are all of the departments in one, it can be very hard to remember that vision and make sure that you are constantly keeping that at the forefront as you move forward with your business. So if you're wondering okay, what is the CEO day? Basically what it is, or how I view it is a day for me to work on my business and all of the aspects that don't have to do with just the day-to-day operations. It is all of the big picture things that really are what keep the business going, gives the business purpose, and allows me to have a clear idea of where I want my business to go. Because what tends to happen is you get caught up in the weeds of everything. You get caught up in just like those day-to-day things, and before you know it, you have kind of lost sight of what you originally wanted to do. And so my CEO day is a chance for me to really get back to kind of the heart of the business, the purpose, why I'm doing this, making sure I'm really identifying what my mission is and making sure that I'm staying with that, and just making sure that I'm creating opportunities for myself that are moving me in a direction of growing my business, both income-wise, but also just visibility. So that is what the day is about. And it's just a time for me to be by myself, which is also really nice as well. I am a mom and a wife, and one of the things that I have learned over the years is that there is nothing like having me time. And so while my CEO day is filled with work-related things, it is also filled with a lot of me-related things, okay, and what I want to do with my time. So what are your goals? What is the vision for your business? What is the mission for your business? And are the day-to-day tasks, those things, are they lining up with that goal, the bigger vision that you want to get to? That is essentially what the CEO day is. And you can fill it with all types of things. Maybe it might be sitting down and really testing out new software that will really move you in that right direction. Maybe there's an opportunity that you've been wanting to look into to possibly get some funding for your business, but you haven't had opportunity. There's a lot of different things that will come up for why you would want to have a CEO day, and essentially it's just those things you don't really have the time for, right? And what I love about it is that you can decide how often you want to have these. It does not have to be this like regular thing that you're having all of the time. But of course, the more often you have it, the better. But I like to at least have one CEO day a month. And why I do this is because I have a vision of really wanting to grow my business beyond these walls. I really want to really become a person that can make a global impact and really help people in a way. I want to create generational wealth, right, for my family. I want to build something that is absolutely bigger than myself. And so because it is just me running this, it can be very easy to get in the weeds of the day to day, figuring out those IT tasks and responding to the emails and just trying to stay afloat with life as it is, in addition to the different tasks I want to do, trying to create new products and all of these things. But sometimes on the back burner ends up being just the bigger thing of like, okay, I would love for my business to have more visibility in stores. I would love to be a vendor for different things. I would love to sponsor different things. And so those are some of the tasks that don't always get my attention. And so that is really why I like to have these days, because it allows for me to have a dedicated time that has nothing to do with what am I posting this week or when am I going to sit down and fulfill these orders, but it really gives me a chance to put on my CEO hat and decide what I need to be doing to move my business forward in the way that makes sense to get towards the greater goals that I have. It's so easy to get lost in that day to day. And how I do this is I coordinate with my husband and we decide on whatever the day is going to be. Typically, I like to do them here at the house, but sometimes I like to leave and go somewhere to work as well. So I'm going to share a little bit about how I actually set mine up, but how you're able to do this is really just articulating with someone that you love, especially if you have kids. This is really who I'm speaking to. If you are single out here doing your thing, you don't really probably have to tell too many people about this day, but if you have kids specifically, really lean into your village, lean into anyone that is in your life that you trust and let them know like, hey, I'm really trying to grow my business and I need this dedicated time. Do you think you'll be able to support me on this particular day each month or every quarter or whenever you decide to do it? Like I said, once a month, I think is about the minimum I would do it, but I understand, life, right? Just letting them know that this is what you're trying to do and seeing if they're able to support you in that. And it does not have to literally be the entire day. It could just be 4 to 5 hours just for you to sit down, get clear on what you want to do, and understand what you need to do next. So let's get into a little bit of how my CEO days are set up and how I know that it's successful, and that might give you a little bit of a bigger picture of how it is. The way that they're set up, I usually, as I shared, I like to either have them here at home because I have a home office, or I'll like to go to like a coffee shop that I can sit in for a couple hours. And sometimes my CEO days will kind of be a combination of just time for myself as well. So I will sometimes do other things. Like I may go, pamper myself a little bit, or I may go to somewhere and try something to eat that I've been wanting to try. But it is all solo. It is just me. And there's always a dedicated block of time that is really for me to sit down and work on my business. So some of the bigger goals that I have, visibility is a really big one that I focus on when I think of CEO days, because I want to think of other ways outside of what I'm already doing that will help me grow my business. I want to look into other options where maybe I've heard of this particular software or, something like this that could automate something quicker, or that a lot of people are using and they're seeing a lot of success in, but I have not had the time within my day-to-day to really sit down and give it my attention. Or if I want to educate myself on new platforms and see if it's a good fit for my business. Those are the types of things that I'm doing on days like that. I love to sit down as well and just think about, okay, what is my 3 to 5 year goals? Where do I really see my business being? And then what can I do within this next 6 to 9 months to get a little bit closer to that? So basically what I like to do is I have a Google Doc that I created and I'm planning on putting it in a ClickUp. I have been on and off with ClickUp lately. There's some times when I'm using it religiously, and then there's other times where I'm really a lot more in my planner, and I feel like I'm in a season where I'm a lot more in my planner. But I do like to just have some of the things saved. So tomorrow I'll kind of show a little bit more of like the CEO stuff in ClickUp. But basically what I wanted to do today is I'm just making a to-do list of things I would like to accomplish. So I'm going to pull that up and I'll kind of read to you some of the things that I'm thinking about. Okay, so what I have going on right now is Q1 is typically a slower time of the year for me for just different reasons, and then also Q3. Those are like the two slowest times of my year. I've noticed this just from being in business year after year. Those are kind of like peak times, and then I have some times that it's kind of more like valleys, you know? So because of this, I really like to use this time to start implementing some things that I want to have happen for the new year. And one of those things that I really have been wanting to do is just really come up with some new ways and also revisiting some old ways of how I'm able to get different streams of income. Last year was such an interesting year because there was so much change, and I ended up taking a lot of unplanned breaks and really was just kind of all over the place a lot with what I wanted to do, rightfully so. I'm giving myself that grace of moving, completely relocating our family, having to just deal with all those emotions of everything and just get settled. And so I'm like, this year, I'm calling this my redemption year. I want to just get back to everything, really have some order with my plans and all of that. And that is why I really have been easing into January, because I really want to make sure that I'm approaching this year in a way that makes sense to either grow my business, as I shared earlier, in a way of income or visibility. So if it is not doing those two things, then I'm really not going to put as much focus on it, because I need to redeem, right? You know, I need to get back to different things. So if I know that I want to eventually hold like conferences one day or something like that, then maybe within the next year, I want to try to have like a small in-person event. So just different things to think about how you can start moving in a direction of what you want to do, but knowing that you may not be able to just like full-fledged do exactly the top thing, right? But you can start to put yourself in a situation where you are making tasks for the day-to-day that are solely coming from your CEO days. So one of the things, y'all, I want to be a speaker, okay? I want to be a speaker. I want to be on stages, but I don't always have the time to sit down and figure out what that will look like for myself. So that's another thing I can do on CEO days is, again, it's that visibility piece. Okay, what can I do to pitch myself? What am I pitching? What would my rates be? And just different things like that, which, by the way, like if you're looking for a speaker, hit your girl up, okay? But seriously, I think that that is something that I don't always have time to sit down and do just on like a random Tuesday. I don't. So these are the things. So start thinking about what you could do on your CEO day that you know is something you want to do for your business. You know you want to apply for those grants. You know you want to possibly work with influencers and different things like that, but you just don't have the time to sit down and do it because you're swamped with orders, or you have a lot of emails, you have a lot of client calls. This is where that day comes up on the calendar. It'll be staring you in the face. So you know, anything like that, you can just start kind of putting that to do for that day. And then that just removes it from your mind, because what tends to happen is, at least I know for me, I will just have things like that in my head and I'll feel guilty that I continue to not get to them. So this is just what really allows me to take a step back, look at my business from a bird's eye view, and understand, okay, this is what I currently have going on. These are some things that I thought were a priority, but no, actually let's not, because we want to be moving in this direction. And it's just a way for me to revamp the plan and just kind of overall just reset and make sure that I'm on track for what I'm doing. Because it's so easy to get caught up in just those little tasks and get just kind of lose focus, right? When you see what other people are doing. So this is a day, like I said, just a reset for you and your business. Now, one of the ways that I know that this day was successful is that I leave with a plan for the next 3 to 6 months, typically. Sometimes 9 if I'm able to, but at least the next 3 to 6 months. And again, I am trying to shoot for doing this about once a month. Sometimes it's every other month, just depending. But I really like to use it to start planning ahead outside of just the immediate next month or two. I'm trying to really foresee what's happening like this time next year. So I use it for a lot of just down the road planning, but then that helps me to decide, well, what can I be doing within the next 90 days, for example, to start getting closer to that. That's how I know that it's successful, when I leave with actually like to-dos. I love to break stuff down by quarter and decide, I have all these big ideas and things I want to do. I want to launch this. I want to look into this. I want to try this. I want to do this. And it just all gets jumbled up and I'm like, oh, I got to do it all this month. But we know realistically, the way that life happens, we don't have time to be doing it all in 1 month. So the day is successful when I'm able to sit down, look at all of these things that I've brain dumped and assess it like, okay, as much as I would love to do all 30 of these things, how about we focus on these 4? And the reason for this is because it's going to help me with X, Y, Z. And then we'll kind of park some of these other ideas in these different quarters. And so when I do that, it gives me a starting point for when I go back to kind of taking off that CEO hat, and now I'm just putting on like my day-to-day operations, which you've seen the memes, the funny like videos and stuff where it's like, what is it, that Full House song, and it's the same person and they're like waving and it's like all of the different departments and stuff and it's the same, but literally that's what it is. It's like you are so many different departments, and I think that it should not be taken lightly. Like if you work a full-time job, if you've ever worked a full-time job, then you already know when you work somewhere, you are focused on your tasks and your tasks only. You might assist the department occasionally if you need to. You might be brought in on a project if you need to work and coordinate with other people as they're doing their own things. But when you are running your business, it is just you. There is none of all of those extras, right? There's none of those extra people to support you. There's no boss to go ask questions. Like there's none of that stuff. And so it can be forgotten that solopreneurs really are the MVP here. Okay. We the MVP because we balance a lot, and it's so many different people's roles. And sometimes you may not be good at certain things and other parts you have a strength in. But you can use the CEO day to really see like, okay, where are the weaknesses? Where are some areas of the business where maybe I'm putting it off? I'm putting off showing up online because I don't feel comfortable. But with my CEO hat on, I know that this is a priority and this is important. I have to put myself out here in order to get to this income goal, or in order to reach this particular audience, in order to have a successful launch. These are the things I need to do. And so it allows for you to be real with yourself in a way that may be hard on just a regular basis. I love CEO days. I really think that it's something everyone should consider for their business, especially if you're a solopreneur, because it's one of those game-changing things. And it allows for you to remember that, yes, it's a small business, but at the end of the day, really looking at it like you have a company, right? You have a company. We recently did an entire quarter in the membership called CEO Vibes. And we really focused on some things that were not so much what people mostly talk about, like your social media strategy, your marketing plan, how to build your email list, just certain things like that. Like those are kind of like the buzzword things that people talk about in the coaching and the business industry. But sometimes we forget about that back end stuff and the things that really keep us progressing towards what it is that we truly want and why we started the business in the first place. And so that is what the theme was all about, of just how to really put on your CEO hat and really identify, okay, what is the bigger thing I'm trying to get to? How can I have my business function in a way that is smooth for me, that is moving me towards what I actually want, and not just like a short-term thing, just because it's what everyone else is doing. I strongly, strongly encourage you to start looking at your business like it is a company. Start identifying ways that you can show up for your business in a way that you are literally the boss. Maybe you don't have all the answers. You may not understand every single element, which is fine. No one ever does. But start being decisive and answering those questions. And if you are unsure of something, set aside that time during your CEO day to be like, okay, I'm going to block off 45 minutes and I'm going to figure out either it's going to be, yes, I'm going to use this platform, or no. Have your pros and cons. Think about the things you are looking for in order to make this particular thing happen for your business. That is really what is going to help you to be a true CEO. And so then whenever you do have people that might come in and help you, if you do grow to have a team, you will already have some of these elements in place that you already know, like, this is the vision for my business. I'm very clear on that. This is the process. This is how things are ran. And now I feel comfortable enough to bring somebody on and allow for them to, kind of take some things off my plate. So even more of my time can start to be focused towards some of those bigger things that I want to do. Find a spot that you love. I think that's one last thing I will just say is find somewhere that you enjoy working. So if there are any co-working spaces around you, if you like to work outside, find a nice park where you can just have some time. Libraries are great as well because they'll have Wi-Fi, and then a lot of them will have, just different tabletops, or even some will have like private spaces where you can go and work. A nice coffee shop where you can sit down. The sky is really the limit, and we're all going to have different preferences of what we prefer, but really use your day for a chance for it to not only be productive, but for it to be enjoyable. Like, really treat yourself and do things that you wouldn't typically do on just an average day, because it's something to look forward to on the calendar. There may be a lot of big decisions to make, or there may be a lot of to-dos to cross off of the list for the day, but fill it with some things that you enjoy as well. And I think that it really just helps to make that day so much more special. You look forward to it on the calendar. And I encourage you to put it on your calendar. I encourage you to figure out, Q2 is right around the corner. Figure out what is a day in Q2, if not every month in Q2, but at least one day out of the next quarter that you can pop on the calendar and be like, this is my CEO day. These are the things that I want to figure out for my business. This is why. And give yourself that time. We need that time. In order to see the business grow the way we want to, we have to start focusing on some of those bigger things that are really going to move us forward. If you are curious about ads, but you haven't had the time to sit down, if you're curious about SEO, but you haven't had the time, this is the type of stuff that you are going to want to start putting aside in your CEO days. And you may not get to everything, but that's why even if you're doing it once a month or even every other week or however often you can do them, it's important to have that time. I talk about this all of the time with my membership as well. It's just having your days themed in a way that makes sense for you so that you know what to focus on when. This is no different. The CEO day is one where you are not focusing on anything else, okay? So when that day comes up, you're not fulfilling orders on that day. You are not worried about what is this caption going to say for this post. It is all about the bigger thing. I know I keep using that word and like this hand motion, but it is really about the bigger vision that you have for where you see your business going in the next several years. And we want to build a business that stands the test of time, and that's why this is such an important thing, and that's why it's a game changer. I have loved CEO days. I feel like all of last year I did not do them. I did them quite a bit, pretty heavily in 2021 and 2022. And then last year I fell off completely, just with moving and life completely changing and all of that. I fell off, and so I've been starting to do them again this year, and I have been slowly kind of getting my groove again of what it means to really have a CEO day. But I'm just so grateful for them. I think that they are so needed. I always feel really inspired and refreshed and really clear, which is, I think, the biggest thing. I always feel clear on what it is that I need to focus on for the next month ahead or the next couple of months. And I just enjoy it. So I wanted to share that with you. Definitely leave down below if you do something similar for your business like this already. What are some of the things that you like to knock out on days like this? I think it's important for us to use this platform to share and encourage and talk about all of that stuff. So definitely leave it down below in the comments, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.